I stopped setting out my husband's vitamins. So for context, I've been setting out Dan's vitamins every morning for about 4 years, like every single morning, without fail. Vitamin D, magnesium, fish oil, some joint thing his doctor recommended. I'd line them up on the counter next to his coffee mug before he even came downstairs. I started doing it because he kept forgetting to take them and he'd complained a few times about feeling run down, so I just figured it out for him. That's kind of how I am. I'm a fixer. I see a problem and I solve it before anyone has to ask. The thing is, he never asked me to do it. I just started and then it became this invisible thing I did every day that he never really acknowledged, which was fine honestly for a long time. I didn't need a parade, but over the past year or so I've noticed this pattern where the things I do quietly just kind of get absorbed into what he expects. Like they stop being things I'm doing for him and start being things that just happen. The vitamins were a small thing, but there were other small things too. I iron his shirts for work even though we have the same job schedule. I refill his car's windshield wiper fluid when I notice it's low. I put his phone on the charger when I see it dying on the couch. He never does any of that for me, not because he's a bad person, I don't think, but because he's never had to notice. I've always already handled it. So last month I was reading something, one of those articles about invisible labor in relationships, and it just kind of sat with me weird, not in a dramatic way. I didn't feel rage or whatever, I just thought about it for a few days, and then one morning I made my coffee and I didn't line up the vitamins. I just didn't do it. I put my mug on the counter and went and sat down at the kitchen table. He came downstairs around 7:15, poured his coffee, stood at the counter for a second, and then came into the kitchen and sat across from me. We talked about nothing, what we had going on that day, whether the recycling needed to go out. He didn't mention the vitamins. Second day, same thing. I didn't set them out. He came down, got his coffee, didn't say anything. This went on for almost 2 weeks. Then one morning he came downstairs looking kind of rough, rubbing the back of his neck, and he said, "I think I'm getting sick or something. I've been so tired." I looked up from my phone. "Are you taking your vitamins?" He blinked. "I mean, not really lately. I keep forgetting. The bottle's in the cabinet," I said. "Third shelf." He kind of laughed a little, like he thought I was joking. "You usually just put them out." "I know," I said. He stood there for a second. I could see him doing the math. Then he said, "How long ago did you stop?" "A couple weeks," I said. He was quiet. He opened the cabinet and found the bottle and shook a few out into his hand. Then he turned around and leaned against the counter. "Why?" "I don't know," I said. "I guess I was curious whether you'd notice. Did I pass or fail?" "I think you already know the answer to that." He took his vitamins with his coffee and didn't say anything else for a while. I went back to my phone. But then right before he left for work, he stopped in the doorway and said, "I'm sorry, I don't think I say that enough. Thank you for all the stuff you just do." I nodded. "Thank you for saying that. Should I start setting them out myself?" I looked at him. That would be a good start. He's been setting them out himself every morning since. Last Tuesday he set mine out too, without saying anything about it. Just lined them up next to my mug. But I noticed,